Welcome to Knights of Roleplay, an adventuring podcast. This is an actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Royalty-free music provided by Kevin MacLeod, Michael Gelfie Studios, Plate Mill Games, and Tabletop Audio. And now, to adventure. Hello listeners, thank you for joining us for this episode of Knights of Roleplay. I'm DM Chris. We are continuing with Cult of the Cave Crickets. Be advised, some of the scenes depicted in this horror adventure are graphic in nature. Our group of adventurers consists of Riki, a kobold fighter, Quinn, an elf warlock, Jin, a human fighter warlock, Wit, a Kenku sorcerer, and Rowan, a human war cleric. As our adventure begins, your group has been employed by Professor Barnabas Ward, Professor of Law and Jurisprudence at the Blackwood College of Ancient Mysteries, to find the rest of his expedition. The expedition had set out to find a fallen star along the edge of the known world before encountering a fierce snowstorm at their camp, fleeing into the nearby caves, and being attacked by unseen monsters. Upon your arrival, you investigated the remains of the camp and found 3 bodies, along with hieroglyphs describing Myceliarax, the great fungal lord. You found evidence of large cricket-like creatures and eventually found yourselves exploring the nearby caves. Inside the caves, you faced many dangers, including damaging rocks in an underground river, a devouring bog, creatures with tentacles coming out of their faces, a constricting tunnel, and statues that attacked you near an underground lake. You found a guard named Rowan with a wound on his back containing a fungal infection that has slowly been getting worse. You also found Professor Davenport, the leader of the expedition, who was trying to muster the courage to attempt to rescue Professor Kerwin. She was captured by the cricket-like creatures called Krikari. She was brought to a shelf overlooking a ravine full of thousands of Krikari. As you climbed out of the caves and onto the shelf, you saw the enormous fungal lord Myceliarax moving toward you from the Black Mountain. On the shelf were Professor Kerwin, a handful of Krikari, and a bifurcated meteor. From inside the meteor, you could see a portal with a hooked beak and partially invisible tendrils at its center. Knowing that Myceliarax plans to rip the meteor in two, thereby opening the portal and allowing fungus to spread across the world, you engaged in combat with the Krikari in an attempt to save Professor Kerwin and close the portal. Instead of continuing with Theater of the Mind, which is what we were doing last time, I'm using a map in miniatures for the second half of this fight. I'm using Loki's Big Book of Battle Maps Volume 3, pages 59 and 60, as well as Loki's add-on scenery for RPG Battle Maps, Magical Effects, which contains pages of reusable decals.
Please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us. There are a total of 6 Krikari on the shelf with the characters. Wit is adjacent to the meteor, but not adjacent to any Krikari. Rowan is adjacent to the meteor and adjacent to a Krikari. Quinn is 5 feet from the meteor and adjacent to a different Krikari. Riki is 10 feet from the meteor with 3 adjacent Krikari. Jin is 30 feet from the meteor with a badly burned Krikari adjacent to her.
Badly burned.
The meteor beak is bloodied, and one of the 4 meteor tendrils is bloodied. Let's see. The meteor beak seemed to react badly when Wit spoke loudly while wielding the cudgel. Due to the meteor beak's screech, Rowan has -2 to his AC until the start of the meteor beak's next turn. An advantage on your next attack, but your turn already went by, so...
Disadvantage?
Sorry, disadvantage on the next attack.
And I spread the sand.
We are at the top of round 4, and on round 10 is when Myceliarax will arrive at the meteor. And that's where we resume our story, our battle, really.
I just want to say you sounded so happy when you were reading off the list of horrors that we've encountered. So you've encountered, shambling corpses and giant
Things with
crickets
tentacles coming out of their face.
And we fortunately survived, so what will happen next?
And also, Wit has been having effects from the psychic mutterings that...
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
At the very
Wit
beginning...
is hearing voices.
At the very beginning of the adventure,
Again.
Wit failed the saving throw when entering the camp, and now it's still effective.
And now he's hearing voices.
Okay, so we are at the top of round 4, and we're Jin, our human fighter warlock.
Okay. Let's see here.
questions because I am trying to think out of the box because this
Sure.
is a pretty heavy situation.
Sure.
Does Professor Kerwin, is she tied up, badly injured? Does she look functional enough that we could possibly give her direction?
She is basically starting to get up onto her feet and looking for a place to run.
Okay.
And Professor
So-
Davenport is up on the top of the ledge there, which is being blocked. Can somebody move that box so Kyle can see the map?
So probably she's too freaked the F out for me to hand her the pot of powder that's on wit and say, toss this.
Why don't you say something to her to try to persuade her?
Okay.
And make a persuasion check.
Okay.
And then we'll see
All right.
how it goes.
But I'm going to run in, and that's going to be what I'm going to do to start. Did we get a sense, you told us the last time that the tendrils seem to have reach. Do we have enough spatial sense to have an idea of how far that reaches?
Yes, they have a 30-foot reach.
Yikes.
Okay. They can hug us from everywhere. Awesome.
Huggy, huggy.
And then final question, with my magical know-how,
Yeah.
do I have a sense that the way that the tendrils are, avoided damage from Ricky and stuff, does it seem like, can I glean if that would be the same for magical damage as well?
What was the question again? Sorry.
The tendrils. The
Yes.
fact that Ricky hit them, and because they didn't have enough powder on them, we're guessing, right? That they didn't take damage. Does it seem like they would be avoiding magical damage as well for the same reason?
It's not a matter of damage.
Okay.
It's a matter of trying to roll an attack and hit.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's
That's something that your character doesn't really understand.
yeah. I mean, Jin, being the worrying sort, would be concerned about whether spell damage might not fully hit them either if they aren't.
There's
fully
no
at the
indication
spell
whether or
person.
not that is true or not.
We're just going to have to try
All right,
it and
fair
see.
enough. That's she's probably going to err on the side of caution.
Right now, the
We
tendrils.
have to join the wait and
Yeah.
see tribe.
Okay. Roger.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The tendrils are partially invisible, so people are having a hard time
She's
hitting them.
gonna run through this path to basically disengage, or not disengage, but to basically provoke from as few characters as possible. So she's gonna take a path in here to get in next to Professor Kerwin and Wit.
Okay.
So she's gonna provoke 2 attacks from ones who thankfully don't have pact attack.
2
How's the
attacks.
to do this?
Yeah, 30 feet. I'm 30 feet away.
Alright. So.
Chris should have placed me 30 feet away. We reviewed all of this before the start of the adventure.
You should be 30 feet away.
Yeah.
Are you not 30 feet away?
No, she is.
Okay. Attack number 1.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
AC.
So that's 3 opportunity attacks then.
No, only 2. This one?
Oh, because
Those are 2. Those are 10 feet apart.
AC 14 on Jin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And AC 15.
Let's see here. Also miss.
Okay.
So let's see here. So free flourish. Can I take the pot of powder from Wit?
Yep.
And I turn to Professor Kerwin and say, "Quickly, can you throw this?"
That's how you're going to persuade her.
And jump motion up towards the tendrils. Like she should have seen.
Like,
Rowan
throw the
already do it.
pot?
Like, yeah,
Throw the powder in the
yeah.
pot?
So she looks terrified. She looks like she's
Okay.
about to run.
Okay.
What would you say to somebody who is terrified and was about to run,
All right.
and you wouldn't want them to run?
in 10
All
moves or less.
right. Get off!
6 seconds.
Out of it, guy.
The world needs your help. I mean, I already. Can you throw this? Like motioning,
Okay.
as
All right,
tossing.
make a persuasion
Yeah,
check.
sure. Which.
The world needs your help.
Right, yeah.
Now!
Right, I mean, Jin is more likely to intimidate than persuade. Real talk. That's but let's see. Who wants to roll tonight? Let's see. Lols. Oh, not that one. That'll be a 4.
Okay, she's like
Okay.
she's like on the verge of tears,
All right.
and she's not even really paying
All
attention
right,
to
so
you.
she sighs, I'll do it myself, and she tosses the powder up on the tendrils.
Okay, so that's been 3 throws of the
That
powder.
would be the third
Yep.
one, yeah.
Okay, so I gotta track this here.
The gamer in me is wondering why we are doing what the enemy was doing when we first saw them.
Oh, putting the powder on.
Okay, so as you
Because
move,
you guys handed it to me.
as you move closer
Yeah.
to the meteor tendrils,
Yep.
they seem to become more and more visible
Okay.
as you get closer and closer to them.
Okay.
And when you throw the powder,
Okay.
they seem to be completely visible now.
Okay. So they're staying. All right.
So so there was something about you moving closer your proximity made them start to be easier to see.
Okay.
And then when you threw the powder, they are now completely visible now, so everybody can see them.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So yeah, I say light them up and put a hand on Whit's shoulder, and that's the end of my turn. That's all I can do.
So I don't actually have to track this because now it is completely visible. So I don't have to track it. Okay, one last thing to track.
Would have been awesome if I could have got the professor to do that for action utility, but I'll take it.
All right, so that was your turn.
Yes, that was my turn.
Okay. So I'm just going to say that Professor Kerwin gets through this group of people and joins Professor Davenport.
Run away.
So she's out of the fray. And then we are on to Wit, our Kenku sorcerer.
Do something witty.
Fiwa? Fiwa. Cone or cube? Cone or cube? I mean, what's the
Can I have
real...
a
You'd have
cone
to
in
ask
the
him
cube?
if the cone or the cube will hit
The spoon?
stuff better.
What's that?
She's considering
I
different
can
spell
do a
shapes.
15-foot cone or a 15-foot cube. Which would be
Looks
more
like the
effective in
cube
hitting?
would more effectively encompass everything. But...
I don't.
And if that
either
cube
one
is
would
thunderous
probably
damage, the meteor might not like the thunderous damage because it's
Couple
rock.
I'm pretty sure you can figure out what a cube is.
Yeah. I mean, where are the tentacles actually in that very artistic mess of tentacles?
They're just they're all part of that space.
Okay.
Ooh. Can you hit multiple times?
So if she can hit them all, then game on. That's,
For the listeners, I just handed Sarah a couple of paper cutout templates that she's using for a 15-foot cone.
If you shimmy over towards Rowan, you might get
Everybody
everything.
should get paper cutout templates. Please sponsor us.
All right.
My question is, will I still get the beak? That's my biggest question.
I would say yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna... Light him up! Light him up!
So this is Burning Hands.
Yeah, I take one big step over towards Rowan. And it needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Well, before any of that happens, I need you to roll a d6 for the mutterings.
Oh god, no!
Mutter roll.
That's a 6!
I think that's the same one you had before.
Yeah, you ignore the 3 and the 6.
Okay.
And to re-roll or just move on?
No, just re-roll until you get a number that you didn't get before.
Okay.
That's not fair. It's a 6 again.
Stop burning all your sixes.
5.
5. Okay. 5. Wit's voices in his head start to really get to him, and Wit is experiencing manic frenzy. The character experiences an intense burst of energy and becomes highly agitated, engaging in erratic movements and actions without clear purpose or direction.
And this is different how?
So we're not noticing any effects from this.
So my party doesn't see anything different.
Okay. And
Light him up! Light him up!
That's talking
let's see. So,
I mean, the tentacles are kind of worm-like. She's a bird.
yeah, so these are deck saves, right?
Dexterity saving
like
throws,
playing with the
please.
cups and like
Okay.
losing their brains.
So let's start with the meteor beak. Dexterity is not
I
your
was gonna
strong
say it's
suit.
stationary. How does it dodge it?
Let's-
13 is the number to beat.
Okay, the meteor beak actually momentarily retreats into the portal as the fire comes out, and then comes back out again.
Oh, cheap.
So
No, it was already damaged though.
it got a 14,
Oh.
but it's
still
gonna take
takes
half
half.
damage.
Yeah, and it was already badly
and
damaged.
then so meteor tendril number 1 is 14.
That passes.
Number 2 is 7.
Fail.
Number 3 is a natural 1.
Fail. Double fail.
Number 4 is a 16.
That passes.
Which one was the bloodied one?
One of the ones that the first one. The first one was the bloody one.
So it succeeded, but it was already
Yep.
bloody. Okay.
Yep.
could work out. In our
Okay,
favor.
so everybody that succeeded takes 5 Fiwa.
Okay, so
And-
so the bloody tendril burns up.
Nice.
Anybody that passed takes 10 Fiwa.
Failed. Takes 10.
That's what I meant. Passed on my high.
I like Sarah's interpretation better.
Right? I'm okay. Everybody takes
Passed
10.
for me.
All right, so pass took 5, pass took 5, pass took 5, fail took 10, fail took 10. So the meteor beak was already bloodied, so it's still bloodied.
Okay.
The one of the tendrils is burned up completely, and the other 3 tendrils are bloodied.
Awesome. Okay.
Nice.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
Okay,
Amanese.
this completely crazy bird person just does this awesome work with the burning hands. All right, so now we're on to the enemies. So the meteor beak is going to use the screeching sound again.
Yikes.
So who is within, let's see, what's the range? Who is within 15 feet of the meteor?
Everyone.
That's everybody.
Everybody. All right.
Have the face on. or whatever.
You,
Oh,
yes.
yes, the veil.
Yes. Quinn has the Veil of Madness, so you're immune to this. Everybody else, make a wisdom saving throw, please.
That's not one of my better saves. That's not good enough.
Okay.
Dash okay. Oh no.
I hear a lot of grumbling.
It's too much stress on Wes.
All right, Whit, what'd you get on your wisdom save?
7.
7.
Appropriate.
That is a fail. All right, Jin, what did you get?
10.
10. That is, let's see.
Assuming it's a-
That is a success.
Whoa, really?
Pizza, pizza.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
Quinn's probably.
All right,
Wow.
and then Rowan, what'd you get?
Surprise.
18.
All right, you
Nice.
passed.
I should hope so.
And then Ricky,
15.
you passed. Okay. So Wit has -2 to his AC and disadvantage on his next attack
Oh.
until the beginning of the meteor beak's next turn.
But there's other things that aren't attacks, though.
Yeah,
right? You have the
like
whispers
fire
and all
and
that good
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
So that was the meteor beak.
Are you out of slots unless you buy back with points?
Let's see, the tendril is going to go for the 3 people that are right in front of it, which looks like Jin and Wit and Rowan. So let's see, Jin, tendril. Ooh, natural 20.
Okay.
That is for 6.
Okay, which is 5 because of my
5 because of the armor,
All right,
of
and
your
I have
whispering
a
missile armor.
response,
Okay.
which is Hellish Rebuke.
Okay. That's a dex save.
Let me double check here. Point the finger at a creature that damaged you momentarily surrounded by hellish flames. It must make a dexterity saving throw, and it takes 2d10 on a failed save or half as much on a successful one.
I got a 15.
I got a 15. That is going to be a success, I think, if I can look at my spell save. Yes. Yeah, no, it's
level.
13. All right, so we've got 2d10s here. Come on, big money.
No offense.
I know. That's actually respectable. So that would have been 12, so 6 for that success.
So this is so the tendril hits you, and then there's this like burst of.
Burst of fire up around it.
Of fire?
6 fire damage. Even
Okay.
though it was nimble. Yep.
So it hits you with a critical. It gets you when you weren't quite paying attention, and does some good damage on you, and then it gets burned up by the hellish rebuke.
Awesome.
All right. 2 down.
In the herd.
So there's 2 left. One will attack Wit. AC 15.
Oh, yeah.
That's 3 damage. And then Rowan. AC 17.
So I'm AC 18, so I believe that's a miss.
That's a miss. Yep.
Nice.
You put your shield in the
Are
way.
you still at
Bang.
-2?
I think it ended at the beginning
No,
of
it
the
started with
Correct.
Beak's
turn.
Yeah.
Correct, yep,
And then he
yep.
succeeded on the second go.
That is correct.
I'm gonna put my shield up. Bang.
So that was meteor
I'm trying to
beak.
kill the party, John.
That was tendril.
Yeah, John.
He's still stuck in Tomb of Annihilation DM mode.
I did enjoy the demon's piece of destruction.
So there's a cultist on Quinn. So the cultist attacks Quinn, AC 11.
That will
I'm going to
miss.
miss you. There is 1 on Rowan, AC 19 that time.
Oh yeah, that hits.
That's for 3 slashing.
Oh, quit it.
Stop it.
And then there are 3 on Riki who all have pack tactics.
Oh, Ricky.
Nice.
Ricky also rolled poop on his second win last adventure.
He did.
Attack number 1. Wow, that's 2 very high numbers. AC 19
Yeah, that'll do.
for 3.
Bloody. Join the club.
Then, Sarah, could you get out the letter markers for me, please?
Oh, yeah.
And second attack, AC 14.
Myth.
And third attack, AC 9.
Myth.
All right, so Sarah. Let's see. If you could put an F on the one that's out there by itself and make it bloodied.
F for fool.
Thank you.
That was my plan, because this guy's going to be
So E is on me.
Ease on you.
Those markers are cool.
Thank you.
Kate made those
I made
markers
them.
for us.
Really?
Yeah. I can tell you how it wasn't too bad to do.
Cool.
They're double-sided and they're green on one side and they're red on the other for
I like it
bloodied.
a lot.
Yeah, what you do is you just get a pack of googly eyes and you peel out the googly eye and you stick that in there and you stick them together.
Really?
You're not far
Okay.
from what
I'm like,
there.
I mean,
there are domes
you must put
there.
some black mark over.
He's definitely fucking with you.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm looking at it going, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Got it, yeah.
Domed clear stickers for jewelry making, and then I printed two-sided. I had to really align my templates so that things were perfectly aligned back to front, and did the black and the red on opposite sides. So cut out the paper and centered them on the little stickers.
I'd see those.
Yeah.
They also
that's
have
it.
arrows on them. So that if there's a marker in the middle of like 10 people, you know which person it's pointing at.
Nice.
Okay. All right. And then there's one more. The very badly bloody one is going to go run over there and take a swing at Quinn. Yep. Just move that up next to the other dude.
I think he'd probably only be able
Yeah.
to get in that way.
AC 18
That will hit.
for 3.
Going after
I
Quinn.
have a response to that.
Okay.
Let's see.
More
He's
hellish
like, wait,
rebuke.
you can
Yes.
do that.
Is
I
it?
hellish blast.
Yes,
I hellish blast.
All right.
I hellish rebuke. I hellish rebuke.
Hellish rebuke on occultist.
He didn't
Way to make two warlocks,
party
guys.
dynamic at all.
I got a 3 on the saving throw.
It's like I went into the
All
Tomb
right,
of
it's a
Annihilation with a
13
monk.
for me.
Just went
Okay,
with a
so
monk.
it fails against your hellish rebuke.
All right, so let me roll the damage. 2d10.
I like this track.
So 3.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 total.
Yeah.
I thought it was 30, but okay.
But that was the badly bloody cultist though, so your hellish rebuke kills the cultist.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Krakari cultist.
Crick.
All right. So that is all the bad guys. Now we're on to Rowan, our human war cleric.
I'm gonna, beak is within smashing range for me.
Yes.
I smashed the beak.
All right.
AC 17 for
That hits.
my max damage of 9.
9. So you crush that meteor beak and it falls to pieces.
Yay, no more scream. Oh, for the orphans!
Is that a turn, Rowan?
Yes, I don't think I have any bonus actions I can
healing stuff that
do.
you can do.
Just healing word, but you were saving that probably for when
Yeah,
Something
I
gets
mean,
taken
yes.
down. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Oh, is that
Rowan.
so
So Riki, our kobold fighter.
Okay, so there's 2 tentacles remaining, yes?
Correct. They're both bloodied.
And they are both bloody.
Yes, they're both bloodied.
Alright. Let's see, the beak gone. Let's see. Would you say both tentacles are within 10 feet of me?
I would say yes.
Okay. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 crickets within 10 feet of me.
It's true.
Okay.
You got a lot of crickets
Free
around
I
you.
got a lot of crickets.
You look very tiny. in
You're
comparison to those
drawing
crickets.
aggro.
I look very tiny.
You're
I
doing
look
your
very
fighter job.
pathetic.
Poor Ricky.
Wow. Ricky sounds like Smeagol over there.
Please eat, Ricky.
So I take it you're using, what is it?
Grovel, cower, and beg.
Grovel, cower, and beg.
Good God, man.
Until the end of my next turn, allies gain advantage on attacks on enemies within 10 feet of me.
Winning.
Yes, that now I can
Cool.
I
Nice.
freaking love kobolds.
It's great. You're like how you justified Dirkers doing that with her personality. I loved that too. And I
Is that an action, John?
That is, as that is my action, yes.
Okay. Are you moving or bonusing?
I am not moving, and I don't think I have a healing potion for that. So
I have one on my person, I believe, still. So you could take it from me.
free flourish.
The healing point.
I think it'll be our last one.
It
I
is.
still have one too. I thought.
I thought you used those.
No, I think that Wait used a couple last time.
Oh, okay.
Because on a scale of 1 to 24, I'm down to 9.
Yeah. Okay.
So as long as nobody's worse.
Someone used them on us.
Wit would never admit to it, so go ahead.
See how afraid the feathers are.
Well, would wit prevent me from taking them off?
No.
What's a herder?
There's blood squirting out of it. He's like, I'm gonna borrow this.
Sorry.
Feathers everywhere.
I believe I still have some
four.
singed
And a
feathers.
1.
4 and a 1.
So 5. So 7 helps.
7, yeah.
Some is better than none.
Lets you soak some of that.
On a
again.
scale of
Yeah.
1 to 16, I'm a 4.
I've also got 3.
But conveniently, you're next to the healer, so at least there's that.
Okay, so that's
I
probably
have
Ricky's
lots of.
turn.
Oh no.
Is that Ricky's turn?
Dear.
Oh no.
Oh, you
That
believe
is
the
Ricky's turn.
poultices, right? We
Okay.
got the 6 poultices that'll heal a d6 for an action.
Quinn,
have
our
those?
Elven
think so.
warlock.
I thought you were with us when we found them.
Poultices?
Yes, they're poultices.
I think we gave them to you.
They take an action and they heal 1d6. So you could use your action and heal 1d6.
Wake up your caster again, basically.
Just
Might be worth
get
it.
some salve on my hands and rub it.
Basically,
So I can roll a normal
fungal
attack.
poultices.
Or to just smite evil.
Yeah. If you want to do
Wake
a
her
regular
up, wake him up
ranged
after.
attack, you can do it.
That's how you're getting a healer, a war cleric.
What are you doing?
I'm going to attack the tendrils with the
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch
Which you got extra damage on your Eldritch Blast, right?
yes.
Yeah, nice. Big money. Oh, great.
Horrible.
Horrible.
So
it
it's 8 to hit.
That misses.
Oh, Greg.
All
Your
right.
dice hate you this adventure. I'm sorry.
Oh well.
Alright, is that turn, Quinn?
You know, I can cry on my turn.
You try if you want to.
Leave your tears behind.
So I see the Rex, the great fungal god, stepping closer. Boom, boom. The ground vibrates under your feet. We are at the top of round 5.
Oh boy.
And we are at...
We're in danger.
We're at Jin, our human fighter warlock.
Let's see what I'm gonna do.
We have two bloodied tendrils.
Right there with the tendrils, so she's gonna sight up on one of the bloodied ones, and with advantage, she's going to draw her rapier, and she's gonna swing on it with advantage. Well, yeah, so do that. So,
You're going to rapier the tentacle.
yes, so AC 16 plus 5, so 21 to hit
21 hits.
for 5.
5, you destroy that tentacle.
And then flipping around offhand, she's going to bring the Splinter Shard dagger down on the other one with advantage.
Okay.
Like it. Good ending. I totally didn't just jinx it.
Roll 2 twos. Okay, that's probably enough to get the job done. Yeah, because that's is that 11 or something? No, that's 13. Oh yeah, that's fine. AC 18.
That hits.
Okay, so then the Splinter Blade, actually AC 19. And then that's going to hit for 6.
6, you destroy the other tentacle.
Splinter blade.
So this
It's very fitting that the meteor blade.
So this
Gobble.
kobold drops to his knees. Everybody turns to look at it, and you're just like,
Spooky fungus lady.
Because you were using the advantage from his features.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
That was clutch. I needed that. I was not rolling poop otherwise this game.
Okay. So the meteor beak is destroyed and the tendrils are destroyed. So there's nothing stopping you from closing the portal now, but you have to still close the portal,
Okay.
which involves basically pushing the two halves of the meteor together.
Okay.
So that was Gian.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, is that everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that was action and bonus action. So let's close this and turn. Yeah.
Wit, Kenku Sorcerer. I need you to roll a d6 for me. 2. Fight back furiously. The character becomes consumed by a sudden burst of rage and attacks the nearest enemy or object with uncontrolled fury.
with advantage.
What would that be? What is the nearest enemy or object?
Either A or B or D.
if
or
it's,
C.
if,
A, B,
it,
C,
if
or
it's
D.
a cultist, then go for it.
You could step into either of them.
I will go this way.
Move that blood over there.
Move your blood over here, sorry. Sorry, so sorry. Take mine with me. And,
Oh, I'm not blooding anymore. I'll take my blood back.
I know I have advantage on attack rolls, but I'm gonna use my Font of Magic to gain back a first level spell slot.
Okay.
And with that, and my fury, I am gonna go thunder. Thunder. Constitution saving throw.
All right. Who are you hitting with the thunder wave?
It's a 15-foot cube, so I should be able to hit all three of those.
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
B, C, and D.
3 hugs.
B, C, and D.
B, C, and D.
3 hugs.
B, C, and D. You said
BCDC.
Constitution?
That's a very apropos spell for
B got a
outrage.
4. C got a 15. D got a 6.
Okay, so C is the only one that passed.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. 2d8s coming up.
Coming up.
Okay, not terrible. So 7 thunder for those that failed.
Fail. So B and D are blown back and fall to pieces dead.
3 for the one that passed.
So C is bloodied by that.
Okay.
Nice. That's,
Good job on the thunder
And
wave.
he's also blown back 10 feet.
Okay.
nice.
Cool. Awesome thunder wave.
One more.
Well, it would technically be away from me, so 5, 10. In a straight, if you go straight line,
Yeah.
right?
Nice.
So I'm going to say that having fulfilled the requirements of the voices in your head, if you want to do anything else, like move adjacent to one half of the meteor or something, if you want to position yourself to try to help close it or something like that, you can do that.
Okay.
If you have movement left, I don't know what you got.
I'm assuming any of the thousands of Drakari back here were also like.
Especially with you,
You
brandishing the
see some
cudgel,
more
right?
starting to climb up from the sides.
What, we made the video?
Yeah, I will position myself on one side of the meteor.
I'll move past me and go over.
I'm assuming that's like right about here-ish.
Sure. As long as you're adjacent, I'm not going to split
Yeah.
hairs about it.
I
Okay.
don't think any of us are a strength build.
Yeah, but if this is another one of these totals, we all
Plus 3.
moved that door before. We had enough to do that, so hopefully we have enough to do this.
Yeah, I'm not like 16's not bad. Nothing to sneeze at.
Beats my 10.
Okay, so that
It's my
was,
12.
so is that Wit's turn?
That is Wit's turn.
Okay.
I've used my action, my bonus action. I've moved.
Okay. So
I've listened to the voices in my head.
another Kakari comes up from the ravine. We're going to say the ravine's over where Sarah is. It's going to come up and seeing you moving toward the meteor, it's going to run over there and try to attack you. You think maybe it knows what you're trying to do.
It's reading my mind.
How many points you got left?
4.
4. Roll the natural 1.
Yay!
Okay. So,
I'm gonna like put the cudgel on my head or something. Try and scare them.
let's see. Quinn, you have an attack. Ooh, a natural 20. That's
I saw running off cold, but
that's 6 slashing damage on you.
And I have another response to that. Yeah.
Another hellish rebuke.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like swear really bad and diabolical when you do this?
So is this a spell slot thing, or is it like a feature you get from something?
Let me just make sure.
Sometimes you get hellish rebuke and you can only use it once.
Oh yeah, it's only
What?
once.
It's only
so
once.
I can't use it.
It's not on your spell list with the slots?
I only have 2 slots, so I
How'd you?
use. I used to use them up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I
Alright.
just get hurt.
So you just get hurt. Let's see, and then
I only have one slot. I held that rebuke for the meteor on purpose.
C is going to run up and attack Riki.
Ricky!
AC 12.
myth.
Okay, and then 1 is going to attack Rowan. AC 9.
Miss.
Gonna be-
Oh, Miss Ping.
Okay. So we had an additional Kokari come up there. We had all the bad guys attack. There's no more Meteor Beak or Tendrils, so that is the bad guys. Rowan, Human War Cleric.
I'm going to.
You see
Push
Wit
the
getting in
meteor.
position to try to help
I'm
push
gonna go
on
the
one
opposite.
side.
Does it?
I mean, are we enough on the opposite side that it already counts, or do we need to be more opposite facing?
I would imagine we need to be a little more opposite.
Probably won't know until we try.
I'm gonna go.
I would say one square. One square this way, I would say.
Yeah, so I'm gonna suck an attack of opportunity, right?
If you do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over there. I got a mission to do.
Okay.
And
AC 7.
Okay,
AC 7 misses.
and I'll use an action to.
Okay, make a strength check for me.
Okay. 5 plus numbers, so 8.
8. It moves a little bit, but not that much.
I think I loosened it.
You need some more help.
Hey, can we help each other with the checks on this, or is this something where we
If
have
someone
to
is like standing next to him, sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So.
No words of encouragement working.
Well, Ricky could help you, right? Or you could help Ricky.
Yeah, it would be.
right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Someone
thinking.
give me a. Can I hear a For the Orphans?
Is that turn roll?
Yes.
Okay, Riki, Kobold Fighter.
Okay, Riki will take one opportunity attack.
How many attack? All right.
Move over there.
AC 8.
AC 8 will miss. And I will use the help action for Rowan on his next strength on his next attempt to push.
I understand. Awesome. Cool. All right. Quinn, our Elf Warlock.
For the Orphans! For the Orphans! For the Orphans!
I take 2 attacks.
There's a way that you could get to that side of the meteor with only provoking once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do I do that? Just go there.
Yell for the Orphans and run.
Or if you go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's right. You
Four,
can run
five.
over there.
Okay. So like disengage.
Well, if you basically run around that one cultist who's closer to the meteor, if you stay within the base to base of that one.
and get up to the meteor on the other side, basically. Yeah.
Okay. So you take 1 attack.
Yep.
AC 9.
That will
Nice.
miss.
And then you can still try to push.
Make a strength check.
All right. I'm hoping I do something.
Why do your dice hate you?
That's
Maybe it's Sage's dice.
5.
1.
so 4.
4.
He rolls so.
Okay.
I'm gonna like
Doesn't
stop
quite
playing
budget.
tonight.
Let's see, where were we?
That was me
Scrying.
last adventure. I do empathize.
So, top of round 6, my Sailor Axe gets closer. Boom, boom, footsteps.
We
And
can do
It
it.
is on to Jin, our fighter, human fighter warlock.
Alright, so Jin moves through in between these here. And says, "Come on, Wit," and helps Wit. Because Wit's strength is much better to hers.
Okay, cool. Wait, roll a d6.
Which is fun.
Damn it. I was hoping the beak was gone. Maybe the voices were gone.
Oh.
That is a 4.
4. Incoherent rambling. The character begins babbling incoherently. Still not different.
This was so perfect that this happened to the freaking Kenku.
The character begins babbling incoherently or speaking nonsensically and making it difficult for others to understand them or communicate effectively. And you can make a strength check with advantage.
With
With advantage because you're getting help
on,
from
Witty.
Jin.
I start speaking in bird.
Verb. Alright.
That's an 11
Plus.
1. No, is it athletics? Oh, it doesn't make a
Yes.
difference.
Yeah.
12.
12.
12.
It moves a little bit.
We're so far! Another 51, we're fine!
Jesus.
Anything else?
Oh my god.
So there's 3 of the characters on that one side of the meteor, right?
Yes.
Okay, and there's 2 on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Finish doing whatever
I think that is it.
you think that is it.
For
Okay.
me.
What terrible thing are you gonna do to us?
God.
So the entire party is around the meteor at this point, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
All right, and it is the bad guy's turn. So your combined total strength is enough to push the sides of the meteors together. So as long as you're all adjacent to
As
it.
if we had to do checks, we're done. We're done.
So more of the Kakari are coming rushing up.
Oh no.
And as they come up, like all of you together, push with your combined strength, and you snap the meteor shut. Okay.
Like an
So,
Easter
Probably
egg?
did.
kind of, yeah.
Anti-Easter egg.
It was worth it.
So
This time we keep the
you
chocolate inside.
close the meteor, and
Chocolate?
I need to read something to you. If I can find it among all my stuff here. Come on. Okay. Successfully closing the portal. Here we go. All right. So, the meteor snaps shut with a thunderclap, the portal dissolving into a fine iridescent mist. All about you wriggle severed tendrils, although they were already kind of destroyed and burnt. A thick spore cloud hangs in the air. The Kakari, moving almost with one mind, scatter into the hills, desperate to escape. My Coelarex pauses, towering in the sky. Yellow ichor oozes from its body and splashes onto the ground, each drop the size of a fist. Great, lidless black eyes stare into you, and you stand helpless, rooted to the spot. You feel as though you are falling. Your mind stretches. Your vision narrows to a pinprick, a tunnel through which you can only see the great mushroom, and your mind threatens to break. You blink, and Mycelirex has already lumbered away, its heavy strides pulsing through your feet. As it vanishes behind the black mountain, you can't help but wonder what other horrors there might be in this world lurking just beyond the borders of rational life.
Did we win?
Yes, you
Yeah.
won.
I don't know if Jin and Rowan really won.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What are we doing about his infection?
Well, hold on. So there's still one member of the part of the expedition unaccounted for.
That's right. We're still missing Amos Chalmers.
Oh, we found this person.
We found Professor Kerwin.
Yes.
She's up there with Professor Davenport, but we're missing.
Yes, Chalmers is the only one.
Amos
Is the
Chalmers.
only one that you haven't found.
All right. Well, let's go look.
Amos. Amos Chalmers.
Amos.
So are you heading back into the cave system?
Are there any other exits other than the cave system? Because I thought we explored that pretty well.
The only place you haven't explored is the is the tunnels that were choked with the mycelium.
Oh.
I guess we should go.
That's the only place you haven't explored yet.
All right. Professor Davenport, Professor Kerwin, do you want to try? I don't know if there are other people. Well, we want to a short rest, or what do we want to do?
I think we've earned it.
We're all pretty tired.
I mean, do we get a sense? Are the caves starting to collapse? Is there something that would drive urgency?
There's no urgency right now. No.
Okay, so let's
It was not a
let's
it was
take
not a load-bearing villain.
let's take a breather. All right, let's take a breather. I agree.
Load-bearing villain.
All right, so
Solve anyone?
Got a second.
Do I get my mind back?
Yes, the psychic mutterings stop
With the closing of the portal.
with the closing of the portal. Yep.
That's annoying.
Yep.
Whatever.
Just happened.
I ruffle up my feathers and take a big old shake. Weird.
You can roll hit dice. You successfully take a short rest. There's really no threat at the moment.
That's right. We haven't short rested before, have we? I don't know if I used hit dice.
I
Let's
think
see.
we've short rested once.
Oh, but we long rested,
Yeah.
so we're good. So as far as using hit dice, okay.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Oh, we did long rest. Okay, this didn't reset.
I mean, you guys had a long rest inside.
Throw your dice at me.
Inside the alcove.
That's it.
Greg, is this D10 yours?
Yes, it probably is.
All right. So go ahead and roll hit dice, and Kyle, you can use your poultices if you want to use them up.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how the short rest works first. And
Okay.
See.
Sure.
Took the short rest.
So the party just took a short rest, and you're going back in the caves to look for Amos Chalmers. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, I guess so.
Okay. The
I suppose so.
The only place you haven't explored is the mycelium choked passage.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
back
It's
through the
upstairs,
sun.
right?
Well, it was back through the sun-dappled cave where we met the old guy missing his boots.
And we have a bird with Sacred Flame, or what? Not Sacred Flame.
Firebolt.
Guiding Bolt.
Yeah, there's the passage in the hallway
Yeah.
where Wit burned basically the whole wall down, and then there's the northwestern passage. I mean, you can go in either way. I mean, what are you doing? Where are you going? What are you doing? How are you approaching this? You tell me what you're doing. How would you like to proceed?
It's hard for me to visualize because I
I've
still
not
don't have a
visualized.
map. Like, I've got nothing. I really don't.
There is a passage in the caves that is choked with this mycelium.
Right.
Yeah.
There are two ways to go in it.
Okay, from where?
There is a southern passage, and there's like a more like northeastern passage.
Whichever one is closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, whichever
Okay.
We're close to the southern one, if I recall
And
correctly, right?
Are you
with
just
torches lit to try and burn away the fungus that's around the edge.
okay? So you're using torches to burn away
Jin
the
might,
fungus.
ask.
Why are you
ask
using
her.
torches? I can just
Somebody have a
And,
pole.
yeah, sure.
Somebody have like a long pole to make sure there's no
firebolt,
like
firebolt.
Jin asks the
uh,
children, is this
puddles of
hallway
digestive
going
acid
to,
that people fell in.
is this
probably
hallway
should
going
be,
to
like,
squeeze
one
us
at a
the
time,
same
please.
way? Is there?
The armor says, "Don't know."
All right, well, let's approach it with fire and hope that does the job.
Okay.
So what were you saying?
What were you saying, Kyle?
We should probably probe the floor so someone doesn't fall into a puddle of digestive acid.
That's strategy.
Do we have any kind
as
of
well.
long
Yes.
like pole or
Ricky forgot his 10-foot pole.
Well, hold on a second. So as you start using the torch and the firebolt, basically the whole entire tunnel ignites and starts to burn.
Okay.
Oh dear.
So basically, like, you sort of sit there with like this giant fireball like in front of you as it slowly burns
my
down.
hand.
I hope there's not somebody alive. Ricky hopes there's not somebody alive in there.
It slowly starts to burn down through
Fire the hole!
tunnel. So,
Fire the hole!
Are we taking damage from that fire?
so after maybe like maybe 20 minutes or so, like the entire passageway is all burned and it's all cleared.
Okay. Well, with
so-
healing in hand, should we need it, let's hurry.
So you start to move through there and you find the bodies of a couple of spider-like creatures that are all burned up.
All right.
Nice.
You're welcome.
So where is my? You're welcome. Need my map.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I was like, nope.
So you get all the way to the end of this passage, and you do find that there's one turnoff where there's a hole in the floor where Professor Davenport and his group had gone through there, and he had jumped down to the lake. So you find that, and then you also find an alcove at the very end where you find Amos. You find the body of Amos Chalmers.
Spider wrapped.
He appears to be burnt. He appears to be burned up.
Like recently burnt?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Can we heal him?
They tried to cook him.
I don't know. I think he might be on saving that way at this point.
Oh yeah, I run up and check him, see if I can.
Yeah, it hasn't been that
slather
long,
salt
right?
salves all
Yeah,
over
that's his
him or
fellow
something.
party member.
It actually says that Amos Chalmers was second to Hester Derby as far as the ranking of the guard that went with the group.
No.
So Hester Derby was the leader, and then Amos Chalmers was second in charge. So we're going to say Rowan was third in charge. But it looks like there was maybe some sort of like a web-like covering on him. His
flammable
body
one?
his body is lying on the floor.
Okay.
And it's burnt from the fire, but there's also like webbing, like the residue of webbing around him. So you think maybe he was webbed to the floor?
He's
You could try some
desiccated.
healing and just in case he's not too far beyond the veil.
I check him to see if he's like
Yeah,
if
it
he's
hasn't
like
been a
any
minute,
signs of
right?
life.
We
Is
ran
he-
down there.
Dead, or just mostly dead?
Or is he completely dead?
Has he failed 3 death saves, even
One
though
and
he's
two
an
and three and four
NPC?
and five.
This isn't line.
Chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions.
Would not be the first time we've ruled that
Stay
an NPC
alive.
could be
Stay
brought
alive.
back if we were fast enough.
So it says here, in quotes, clever, in quotes, players may wish to set the entire area on fire. Doing so will vanquish the spore weavers, those are the spider things, and their spiderlings, but will also kill Amos Chalmers, who lies unconscious beyond the secret door to the north.
Well,
He did.
he dead.
Yeah, but we're clever.
He called wit
You
clever.
would have otherwise found his body covered in webs with all these little spiderlings all over it, like he was going to be food for the spore weavers. But you burned him up.
It looked like fungus webbing, not webbing, right? You know, we didn't think that.
You haven't searched this way. He's probably that way. Let's burn it. Oops.
Ricky thinks he was like this when we got here.
Yeah, the spiders obviously tried to cook him.
I had forgotten about the fire thing when Sarah said that it was burning down that passageway. And if I had thought of it, I would have said, okay, so the whole thing ignites, and I would have just had you find him at that point, but I totally forgot about the fire part. And I didn't, and I was like, they're probably going to go back down there and burn it again. And the guy's going to die. But I waited to see what you did. And you said fire, and you said fire. So, all right.
Fire.
We get paid. Ricky thinks we get paid the same either way.
The book may say that wit's clever, but wit is not so clever.
I think I get paid more now.
We're bringing the crispy body with us, so,
Technically, there's.
you know,
Crispy bacon.
crispy bacon.
I actually had a note here that says, this may be Kyle's character, but that didn't wind up. I thought you were coming in the next session, so I was going to say that was going to be your body there.
Got it.
All webbed up. They probably just would have burned you to death.
You realize that we were on the cusp of burning it anyway.
Instead of a mushroom, I just have horrible burn scars.
You find him at the edge of life.
Okay, so that was the only person that you hadn't found, and
Sad face.
and now you've basically covered the entire list
Okay.
of all the people there. So let me.
Did the other two professors come with us, or had they stayed outside?
Professor Davenport probably wouldn't want to climb back down, but he probably wouldn't feel safe either. So with him and Professor Kerwin, they would probably follow behind you
Oh no.
to come back down here.
I wouldn't let them see the body.
Oh, this might be two bad things.
You don't want to come down this way.
Okay, so you've explored the entire tunnel system. You've basically beaten the adventure. Are you heading back to meet Professor Barnabas Ward?
Let's go get to the ladies
Yeah,
in the cave
so
first.
to see if we can find temples.
We
with
gotta get the ladies back out of the spot where we found him.
Yearling
Yes, you go
for
back
our
and you
friend
get the
here.
survivors
Yeah.
behind the barricade.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's see.
How many survived?
Not very many.
1, 2, 3,
So,
4,
you
5.
Not very many.
so you
Including you.
Yeah, 5 includes you.
so you
I have
travel
armor.
you travel back to the hamlet of Dawnshire with all of the survivors. Professor Ward is delighted to be reunited with the, would you say 5?
Yep.
With the 5 survivors of the expedition, and he mourns the loss of those who died. He rewards you with the promised 500 gold pieces. He also gives you a rare smile, a hearty thank you, and a clap on the back. Shortly after, you begin to hear a noise as if someone is in great pain. You turn and see Rowan grunting and sweating.
Uh-oh.
The lines of fungal infection have grown up his neck and cover his entire face. You hear horrible
There's something.
ripping and tearing sounds. Suddenly his face and skull split in the middle and tentacles with eyes on the ends. Long rows of teeth on them erupt from the opening in his skull. The creature lets out a roar, and that is the end of the adventure.
It's so close! We're gonna take the 500 gold to a temple to restore you.
Into a monster.
Bring the crown to the orphans!
He turned into a monster in the end.
Wit takes the crown off his body and goes about their way. I'm pretty.
My parents abandoned me!
This guy over here is all destroyed and not even human anymore.
I was like, oh man, I can make a really cool horror movie ending with Rowan turning into a monster.
Obviously, I had a shocked and surprised expression on my face when he was saying that.
Yeah.
Me
I'm
too.
worried you're gonna do something bad to Jin as well.
Well, I was about to say if he claps him on the
Yeah.
back, that's not good.
That's what triggered it.
Well, we did not check in and see if it was growing or whatever during our fight and stuff.
I thought he was gonna make us fight you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to do Stars and Wishes, and if people want to, I want to discuss a little more about the adventure as well. Would you all prefer to do, like, to learn some behind the scenes info about the adventure first and then do Stars and Wishes? Or do you want to do Stars and Wishes first and then talk more about the adventure?
Let's do behind the scenes first, because it might shape Stars and Wishes.
Okay, we can do that. Just off the top of my head, things that I remember from the adventure was that in the final fight, when Jin ran over toward the meteor, and I said that the tendrils became more visible, it was because you had the mushroom on you. You said you had a mushroom stuck on your armor.
The glowing armor.
No, you had a mushroom from the
Yeah.
bioluminescent mushroom
Yeah,
that you
I
found.
had like 20 of them, but yeah.
yeah, and you had them stuck on your armor.
Yeah.
So the thing with the tendrils was that there was a 50% mischance on the tendrils. If you made an attack roll on it and you hit it, there was a 50% mischance because they were invisible. And the throwing the powder reduced the chance by 10. So when you got there, you saw the Kakari shaman do one throw. which I'm a little confused by. Because why would the Kakari shaman want to make the tendril more
Maybe
visible?
it's
summon them, make them
so
more
they
real
could
for
actually
them.
open it, right?
See the
maybe they had
god.
to be fully
Maybe.
in the world to open it.
Maybe,
right?
yeah.
That, like I said, Ricky, I was actually a little concerned about that. As why are we doing this thing that the
Yeah.
enemies were doing?
Right.
So the shaman throws the first powder, which brings the mischance to 40.
Okay.
And then Kyle, as Rowan, threw some powder and brought it down to 30. And then Ricky attacked and hit. And then there was a 30% mischance. So I said 1, 2, 3 on a d10, you'll miss. And I rolled a 3. So you missed. And then the bioluminescent mushrooms, if they get close enough, they reduce the chance by 20%. And if you look through the meteor, through the splinter blade piece of the meteor, like I told you, you can see everything just fine, and there's no mischance.
Right.
So that was the whole thing with the powder and,
Yeah.
and the mushrooms was the mischance.
In that situation, would my blind fighting also have negated that because she could see all invisible things within 10 feet anyway?
Possibly, if you had brought it up to me at the time, I might have said
okay.
sure.
Yeah, I meant. I
now
mean,
there's
I
orders.
attuned to
Yeah.
the dagger. It's not like I
No,
could
it's
pass
fine.
it to someone else. So
No,
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
So that was the deal with the powder.
Okay.
Let me scan through. Does anybody have any questions while I kind of look here about anything in particular?
Powder. What was that? I was thinking. So, like, if the whole party had worn the mushrooms, if they got close enough to attack, they would have been able to see.
Yeah. And I actually was asking myself. I was like, didn't Wit take a mushroom too? But I wasn't
Wit
sure.
did.
I did, but I
Mushrooms in
think
the
I threw
lake.
it
In the lake, yeah.
That's right.
Just wit.
That's right. All right. So Area A was the camp, which Kyle wasn't there for. The mounds that had the 2 bodies in it that you found,
Yeah.
like you guys were about to leave that area and not discover the bodies.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like they were monuments. It didn't seem like they were burial markers the way that it was initially described. So, yeah.
I think it was Greg. I had Greg. He had the highest passive perception. I said that you saw something that looked different at the base of the mountain. So I kind of fed you guys that one. I'm like, I don't want you to leave the bodies behind. So I said, hey, Greg, you see something in that mound? And then you found the boot and belonged to a person's body, et cetera, et cetera. The psychic mutterings, which Wit got, it said basically the person with the lowest wisdom has to make a saving throw, I believe. When the group enters the camp, the character with the lowest wisdom begins to hear blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think there was a saving throw in there somewhere.
Yeah, there was.
And you failed.
Yeah.
You and Kate actually had the lowest
I
wisdom.
think we tied.
Yeah,
for
we
wisdom.
tied, but he
but
picked
I just
you,
picked
which is
you.
perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have 2 people having to deal with the mutterings.
Yeah.
So that's what that was.
That was appropriate, though.
It was.
I think it would have been nice to specify the actual combat effects on what was going on with those mutterings.
Oh, you mean as far as like Jeff writing the adventure?
Yes.
Like what do these things have to do with
Did
combat?
it really
Right.
affect
Yeah.
combat?
Yeah, I
other than
gotcha.
one that
Like the
made you
role play
attack
thing was
something?
cool, but like
Yeah.
how would that have like -1 or positive
Especially
1?
since
or...
it didn't seem to start happening. To
I mean,
the
or
final
was
fight
it just for
anymore.
role
Okay.
play flavor? In which
Yeah.
case, then talk about the perfect role
So that's
play
kind of
player
a
to do that.
that's kind of a wish for Jeff.
Yeah.
Which it didn't really do anything to your playing.
It
like,
didn't really
negative.
affect my turns. It was
No.
more of a roleplay flavor for me personally.
Right, which is fun in and of
I mean,
itself.
that's honestly,
Yeah, no, I
there
liked
was
it.
so much going on in that fight that trying to add more effects
True.
and modifications would have been a lot.
It definitely would have
Yeah.
made the fight a lot more difficult since I was the one with all the magical AoEs.
We had a very uniquely unbalanced.
So there was the camp, there was the tents, there was the burial mounds, there was the copse of trees. I mean, you guys really didn't miss a whole lot in those areas. The crater, you never explored the crater, which was where the meteor fell, and that's where you would have fought some Kakari, who were basically hanging out where the meteor had fallen and opened up the crack that led to the cave system below.
Those
so,
were the ones we saw from the bog, right?
Correct. You guys went in through the river pathway,
Yeah.
and a lot of there was some stuff in here. Like, where's the river pathway? Here it is, right here. So falling into the river, we did that pretty much the way it was supposed to. With the athletics check and the 2d4 bludgeoning damage if you failed, or half as much if you succeeded. The secret alcove. Earthenware pot. I'm trying to see if there was something that you guys wouldn't have known here.
Oh, it's very clutch that we picked up the powder in both places.
The secret alcove. The shortwater underwater tunnel leads to a small
Good thing
chamber.
Ricky's a pack rat.
And with
there were some things that basically described like if characters make an active perception check, they could possibly find this. And I basically decided not to do that. And I said, whoever has the highest passive perception, I'm going to give you the information. So I kind of I've talked with Jeff on Discord repeatedly through this whole process. And, he said something about the fact that, I think he said he was a little more into the idea that sometimes people just miss things. And he was fine with that. And I was like, I don't really like that. So whenever
That's just a matter of style.
it is. It is.
Right.
I'm not saying anything bad about Jeff or his style, but I chose to give you guys information when you weren't making active checks. I was just like, who has the highest perception? You get the information. That's what I did in most cases.
Yeah.
So falling into the river, the pathway, perceptive characters with a passive wisdom perception of 12 or higher see a faint glow coming from under the rapids. So, Greg, your passive perception was actually 13, so you actually had the passive perception to see where the alcove was, where the cudgel was.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you could have, now that I'm thinking of this, you could have used the cudgel to command the meteor beak to obey you.
Wow.
I'm not sure how I would give that to you as a DM.
Right.
Maybe some feedback for Jeff. I wasn't sure, but when you said that you held it up and you tried to speak in the Kakari language, I said, okay, so the meteor beak reacts very badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's about the only thing I can think of to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, if I had thought to ask the armor, right, maybe the Whispering Children could have told us, but I was trying not to abuse
Maybe.
that too
And I could have just said to you, Sarah, you can use the cudgel to command the meteor beak to stop screeching. I could have just said that. But I felt like I was...
I don't think Wit would have been smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah, like even if Wit, like,
I only
winced
have an
or
intelligence
something.
score of 8.
Yeah, I got you.
Does the head of the cudgel look exactly like the beak coming out of the meteor?
No idea. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
that would have
I
been
mean, when
probably
we
a
found
good
it, there was a mural
clue.
of a Krakari holding it up against the fungus
No,
thing.
Maybe it's something.
Well,
yeah.
it's the-
Maybe
The
that's something
Krakari
you
was
deal
holding up
with,
against
like,
a
an
beaked
identifier
monstrosity.
or-
Oh, okay.
Monstrosity was clearly scared of it, and that's how we knew we had to send
okay.
people across
Yeah.
the river again to get the cudgel
Or if
anyway.
it was,
See, that's
something that
You
you
thought
need
more as
to-
like a weapon.
Yeah, I didn't like, I was like, again, like I try to give information a lot of the time, even if people don't actively search for it.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was a little bit too cheesy to be like, hey, you can tell it to stop screeching with the cudgel.
Right.
I was hoping you would figure it out, and I thought that when you ran down there, you might try it again.
Yeah.
So I mean, but again, there was
I
so
got
much.
kind of caught up in the whole
No, I
idea.
get
of,
it.
like,
I get it.
Burn it
He
all.
also went a little nutty.
He did.
It was very apropos that that's what you were going to do anyway, and
Honestly,
then you
though, I
had even
think the
more
fight-
reasons.
I think the fight went pretty well, even without any kind of additional shenanigans to
Sure.
actually make it easier.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the fight was very tense. You guys were like almost being knocked unconscious and
It
everything.
was very swingy. If we had rolled tonight like we rolled last week, I think we would have. It could have gone differently.
I did.
Oh yeah.
It really.
I mean,
yeah.
when I got hit with that screech, my armor class went down to 10.
Yeah.
Oh, that's low.
Yeah, and she's our only.
It was a very
master.
good thing that we closed it out as fast as we did, because I would have been very, very vulnerable.
Was that something actually a part of the module that
What's
if we're
that?
all there, we can use our combined strength to close it, or
I used combined strength for a couple of things in this,
The door,
and that is not part of the adventure at all.
right? But
I added that in there.
valid strategy.
Taking
given
it, that
we
was a
have-
DM flavor to make up for the fact that we
Such a
had a very
terrible
unbalanced party.
Basically, I was somewhat trying to compensate for like no big frontline fighter, no healer up until Kyle. I was trying to compensate a little bit for that. Jeff did say that you guys would probably get TPK'd without a big fighter and a healer.
Kyle may or may not have been told what class to play to come into this.
I usually play Warcraft.
You do anyway. Okay, I figured
It's my,
that
it's my
because you
go-to.
did it in TOA too.
It's my
so
default.
Like, okay,
Isn't that what you
alright.
played in
I do
Doom
fifth-
Annihilation too when you came in?
Yeah, I played.
Likewise,
Yeah, I played Theric. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's my like default.
Well, that's convenient because we don't always favor it, so that worked out well.
So you guys went into the caves. I mean,
Save
the
this from ourselves.
let's see.
I mean,
pay the price.
yeah, right.
So underground river, the devouring bog.
We see
If
orphans
a
up
character
there.
steps foot in the devouring bog, it immediately yanks them into the roots into its center, and they start to
Wit.
suffocate. DC 15 strength check to try to get out. The Kakari above throw rocks. Yeah, I did all that. Destroying the bog. You can do so by hacking it apart, but I just once you guys get out, I'll let you use fire. That was
Well, I
fine.
mean, I blew a hole in it with a fireball.
Yeah, there's
with,
precedent for kill it with fire.
no, it was burning hands, wasn't it?
It was burning hands, yeah. I was like, with panics, and just cast burning hands up to the sky.
The Whisper Mycelium armor, where you got that in the
Yeah,
corridor.
how screwed am I?
And, well, there's a bunch of stuff that says that basically because Jeff intended this to be dropped into a campaign.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff that basically says what happens, which I can tell you because I don't know if we're going
I
to
don't think we're going to play in
again.
this world again. If you want to keep it because secrets, that's fine. But otherwise, I am curious.
It basically talks about how it wants to spread, and
Okay.
it doesn't want to spread to any other party members because you're too powerful.
Okay.
So I think it was a mechanic where you had to make saving throws every so often,
Okay.
and then you had to basically try to go over and approach like commoners basically, and try to talk to them or touch them, and some of it would come off of you and go onto them, and it would keep spreading from person to person to person.
That's kind of. I mean, given she's a warlock and what her patron is, that is actually synergistic. So.
Yeah, if the character succeeds in their save, but you failed, it said you could have. I think it said you could have given up the saving throw voluntarily if you wanted to. Bypassing the curtain.
Poor hygiene.
You could try destroying the curtain. You could try to roleplay through the curtain. You could try various magical means. If the characters attack the curtain, it begs for mercy, which is what I did when John said he was going to burn it. When Ricky said he was going to burn
No
it.
burn, no burn.
And the pigeon that Greg pulled out with Mage Hand was from the survivors at the barricade where Rowan was. They tried to send a pigeon for help.
did.
Yeah.
Whisper Mycelium armor. Yep, got that. And then there's a list of truth and lies that I was telling as you guys were role playing with the curtain. I was reading from the list of truths and lies that it was telling. So some of the things it was saying were true and some of them were not.
Yeah, like healing.
Yeah, like truths are the fungus in the tunnel ahead conceals hidden dangers. I said that one.
Yeah.
The resting place of a Kakari shaman in the underwater tunnel, which you found. The tip of the fungal bridge is weak and brittle, the one that led to the survivors. Our prey has vanished. I used that one. The meteor is a portal to another world. That's a
do
truth.
that one, but-
I didn't do it. And the nest of the spore weavers is lousy with traps. And then the lies were people come to kill us. Eating a piece of the curtain grants eternal youth. I didn't use that one. The Kakari walk through walls. That's not true. The Mycelium is a god and wishes to save the world. That's not true.
Yeah. I think we knew that.
All that came into the caves are dead or have escaped. There's nothing left to find here, which is a lie. There's a monster in the caves that can only be defeated with the power of positive thought.
I love that
You
one.
could play that a lot of ways depending on the particular party that you're working with. That's cool.
The fungal bridge had some weird mechanics on it. Like when I was going through this adventure, I was copying and pasting it into a Google Doc that I was customizing myself, and I was highlighting big areas of text and deleting them because I didn't want to include them in the adventure. And one of the things was the fungal bridge had something where, like, if so many pounds of weight got on the fungal bridge, it would just collapse, and then you would be basically. Have they ever hit it?
Yeah, I couldn't tell how high up he was on the best of that.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
all right. He's just on his
We're looking at my son Sebastian on the monitor. So if so much weight got on the fungal bridge, it would have collapsed, and then you would have had to make those checks again. That took you 18 minutes to get
Yeah.
through, and I'm like, forget that. I just deleted that completely. And then Sarah used Thunderwave and blew away the bridge anyway. I was like, all right.
Own it. Just wit doing wit things.
The survivors, Rowan was supposed to be curled up in a ball in the corner, like kind of crazy and muttering about the end of times. That's it. That's what he was supposed to be doing. But I'm like, nope, that's going to be Kyle.
I expended that role
You did.
in the next
For the children.
And then you exploded.
I have a note here. Leave the identity of the figure vague for Kyle's character. Let's see. If you had engaged Professor Redgrave on the topic, she would have talked to you for hours about fungus.
Yep.
That was something out there.
Would have run out of time.
Yep.
World would have ended.
She gave you the meteoric splinter blade. Excuse me. We went over the spore weaver nest that you just killed ambush chummers.
Yeah.
So if you guys had gone in there and gone down the hole, that would have been, you would have come up at the underground lake. The constricting tunnel, I totally screwed the pooch on that one. I totally messed that one up a lot. It was only supposed to be one one mycoloom per square, not two like what I did. But there was no rules for being able to squeeze past them, which I added. Because I was like, even with one mycoloom in one space and having them stack up, I'm like, how are you ever going to get through all those? So I started to squish them into one space together and say, okay, well, you can use the optional tumble rules to try to move past them. So they weren't supposed to be in the same space together, and there was no tumbling rules. Those were all Chris either adding or messing things up, or both.
But still, that still came out very well, though.
I thought it was great. And when I talked to,
Still an intense fight.
when I talked to Jeff about it, he said that he said something about a strategy where everybody would be focusing in one direction on all their attacks, and then trying basically kill one in the front and then somebody move, kill one in the front and then somebody move, and something along those lines. I think he might have said something about suggesting people like ready actions or something like once the person in front of me gets killed, then I'm going to move into the space as a ready action or something like that.
Oh.
We have a Sebastian at the table now,
Sebastian.
who just turned 1. Hi, Sebastian. We love you, buddy. So the constricting tunnel, once it closed on round 6, you would have to make strength checks to get out of the constricting tunnel, and it was the same thing as the river. The DC 15 strength athletics check. And I was like, I really don't want you guys to get caught in there. And you would be taking a D8 of damage every round while you were trapped inside there.
Yeah, we would not survive.
Just light it on fire, that's all.
And you guys would not have survived.
It was constricting, not like mold.
Yeah, I mean...
It was the same type of thing as the one we set on fire that killed the
No,
professor? Oh,
no, it was different.
got it.
It was different.
Think of a big intestine.
No, I did. That's what I did. That's what I did think. I was like, oh, this is intestine with these like worm fungus things popping out of it.
Yeah, so at the start of round 2 of combat, the fungus that coats everything starts to constrict. Each round after the first, another mycoloom pops out. When the tunnel completely closes on round 6, you take a D8 every turn of damage. A D8 bludgeoning on their first round trapped, and D4 bludgeoning for each additional round.
Okay.
And it reopens after 10 minutes. DC 15 strength check to try to move through at 25% of your speed. And I'm like, ooh. So trying to move through it has that same DC of 15 strength check, and you're moving at a quarter speed. I wasn't a big fan of that.
So done.
And then that pitfall at the end where Riki fell in was supposed to be part of the encounter.
Oh, were there ways for whatever happened to Rowan's character for the characters to get hit by the Kirkari or something and like become those creatures with the head splitting things like I ended up as?
Was there a cure?
Yes. Well, I think
Well, let's see.
we knew that if we had failed certain saves,
Cut off your arm.
So
Cut off my... Oh.
so you essentially became what I think is called a skitterbloom, and those tentacles, the tentacles that they had on their faces, they were +4 to hit, a D8 +2 damage, and a DC 14 con save. And on a failure, inflicts disadvantage on the target's next attack made before the end of their next turn. If a creature fails to save at least once, they must make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw 24 hours later. On a failure, they are infected. Unless healed by lesser restoration or a similar effect, the character will become a devoted fungal servant of Myceliarax, as Kyle just did. Within a week, it says. At the DM's discretion, this may mean death or various and horrifying physical transformations.
Torm's not going to like that.
You died before you surrendered.
Yeah, there you go.
Never give up, never surrender.
The orphans aren't going to like that.
No.
No.
The orphans are in fact orphans.
So the entrance hall, I think, was pretty... You
Okay.
pretty much found everything in the entrance hall. The murals, that was all pretty straightforward. The deep caves, the makeshift camp, you found all that.
Anything fancy about the lake?
The subterranean lake, let's see, subterranean lake.
Black Veil.
The white stalactites that were mentioned in the flavor text as I described the room. You could have taken those. And the fungal entities won't enter this place because of the salt. This may provide a respite for the characters. They may be used in combat. Treat these stalactites as an improvised ranged attack with a range of 5 feet. I think that maybe is melee attack. not sure, but it said if you throw a handful of salt upon a fungal entity, it takes a d6 fire damage on a hit. And the target must make a DC 12 con save or be stunned until the end of its next turn. A salt stalactite may be fashioned into a dagger, which has the same effect, essentially.
Interesting.
Yep.
Salty dagger.
You could have said the name of the statues to make them collapse. You could have retreated from the tunnel. They wouldn't have followed you. Let's see. I think you got everything else. The bottom of the lake, you found the veil that Greg was wearing.
So the coins were a red herring.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
As far as the adventure itself, the only
Wait, hold on. If Wit had failed the Constitution saves in the lake, you would have lost a point of strength.
Ah.
Every time you failed, you would have lost a point of strength.
That's costly.
Yep. And there was something about how every time you do a dive, there's a 25% chance of retrieving the treasure. I threw that out. I'm like, once you make the check, you just find it.
Yeah.
That's something else that we would have just been belabored for an
It would have taken a long
Depends on the
time.
party dynamic, right? The party that really just wants to kick the poop out of themselves.
Any character swimming in the lake becomes covered in bioluminescent algae, dyeing their skin neon green and causing them to glow as bright as a candle. Wit.
Nice.
Glowing bird.
Bathing in fresh water removes the effect. So eventually you would have just got it.
Never, or just never bathe.
I just never bathed.
I mean, Wit
Oh,
might not.
what would have happened if we failed the final encounter?
I think he's
Hold
getting
on.
there.
Hold on.
That's
The veil, the grotto, that was all pretty straightforward. There was a big section that Jeff actually said in the adventure where you guys found the makeshift camp that was near the underground lake. And then I said there was a passage where you found Hester Derby's body. There was some kind of making checks kind of a thing to get from there to where you found Professor Davenport. And it said something like, if this seems like it would basically be not fun, to not include it. So I didn't include it. There was a whole bunch of checks that had to be made to go through there. I don't know what they were. Again, I deleted it from my copy of the adventure, and I said you just go from there, and then you just find Professor Davenport. That's it. Easy peasy. Let's see. There was a check to climb up the shaft to get to the final fight. I threw that check out. I'm like, nope. I don't want people trying to spend 20 minutes to climb up the shaft to get to the final fight. I just threw that out.
Sometimes it's not easy to climb up a shaft.
No, I know. And then the final battle.
especially when they're slippery.
The final battle, I was missing the pack tactics with the Krikari. I was missing that.
We didn't miss it.
You had a lot of pieces going.
Yeah, you guys didn't miss it.
We lucked out, yeah.
It's all right because I was forgetting my pack tactics, so balance is out.
Balance, yeah.
Let's see. Everything else was pretty much. You had to kill the beak and the tendrils, and you had to close it. It said you could close it in a number of different ways. The most mundane of which was making that same DC 15 Strength Athletics check. But it gave a couple other options too, and I just decided that once you were around it, you could close it. It did say that the characters working together could close it. So I'm like, okay, that's what we're going to do right now.
Okay.
So that was that. Failure to close the portal. After 10 rounds, my Coelorex arrives and rips the meteor asunder, permanently opening the rift. My Coelorex is unconcerned with the characters, and after breaking the meteor, begins to yank out huge shags of fungus from within the portal. Fungal monstrosities soon begin pouring forth from another world. At this point, it would be best if the characters simply fled. If they stay, they will surely be killed. See the failure to close the portal section of ending the adventure and where to go from there. And failure to close the portal was what I just read. I believe that there was some other things that I didn't include that basically say if you're inserting this in a campaign and they don't close it, here's a whole bunch of things you can do once the fungal infection starts to spread from this area.
Now this is a part of your main campaign.
Right, essentially. Yep.
Right, surviving this world, right?
Random fungal encounters.
Major world event.
So, Greg, stars and wishes.
Oh, shoot.
Stars are things you liked. Wishes are things you'd like to see. It can be about this particular session. It can be about the whole adventure. I mean, if you want to include both, please feel free.
Okay. Stars, that was fun. I think.
That was fun.
that maybe, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but maybe it could have been a little more scary.
A little more what?
A little more scary.
Greg was not scared.
I think that has more to do with our group dynamic than anything.
Yeah, we don't respond well to horror in this group.
We just giggle about it. It's kind of disturbing.
Oh no, we burned this guy alive.
What? We burned the guy alive?
Once again, it was Sarah's character.
Oh, these things have tendrils with eyeballs coming out of their face? That's cool.
I'm gonna peck at him.
I will say I specifically chose musical tracks to try to create a little more of a scary atmosphere.
Ambiance.
I did, yes.
Wishes. I do wish my dice rolled better so I could have done some things. But other than that, it was fun.
Just means you need more dice.
Yeah.
Well, I think weren't you the one who bloodied the beak? So you did land a good hit there. That was still key. Yeah.
Yeah, that was all I did, but that's all right.
Okay.
It's low level, right? You get like one thing to do on your turn, maybe two. It's just how it goes. Sometimes it's good.
Anything else, Greg?
Riki didn't do
That
much
is
until
it.
that
Okay.
cower and beg at the end. And
John, do you have any stars and/or wishes for the adventure / entire adventure?
overall, I like the adventure. It's a good adventure. Like I said, a lot of the feel of it being a horror adventure was kind of squelched by the group, but that's okay. That's just who we are. The final fight is kind of weird. I felt both pressured and not pressured at the same time.
Okay.
It had a time crunch on it, but honestly, when we started damaging the when the beak was damaged in one hit,
Yeah.
or bloodied in one hit, I'm just like, okay, we'll just AOE the thing and we're done.
Okay. So the fact that I had so few hit points and it was bloodied in one hit kind of took the sting out of that last encounter.
Yeah,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
the constant flood of crickets was nice.
Okay.
They were probably the biggest threat in the whole thing, even though they were also pretty crunchy.
Especially the pack tactics. Yeah, they only had 6 hit points apiece, but they had pack tactics, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, so I'd probably bump up the beak hit points just a little bit.
Sure.
For me.
Okay. Well, hi, Sebastian.
Yeah. So that's kind of a star and a wish.
Okay.
Overall, though, I thought the theme was pretty cool.
Okay. Cool.
So, although, I think what we said before, probably could have used a couple more options in a couple of places.
Okay.
But I
Sounds
think we
good.
went over those already.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Cal, do you have any stars and/or wishes?
Stars, we're getting to play with you all again. It was super fun.
Yeah.
You guys do some more one shots, and
awesome.
I can guest star again. The old
there. Sorry. Everybody's like, yeah.
Yay!
How about this?
wishes is being some more enthusiasm from the group.
You want me to be more enthusiastic?
I want to get my decisions.
I did try a little bit there. I was like,
Yeah, Greg did give me the clap.
oh no, I didn't give you the clap. Clap for you, yes.
Another star was I'm planning on running this adventure when I get it for DCC.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting. It was awesome to be able to play it
Yep.
before I run it, and also I really liked you doing the going over it from a DM perspective because I'm I get to learn things.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm gonna
Yeah, because you backed the project, right?
Oh yeah. I did the
Kyle backed it,
DCC
Jeff,
one,
just so you know.
the Dungeon Crawl Classics version. So
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see the differences because I'm not super. I played some DCC, but I'm not super competent with it, so I don't know how.
DCC can be brutal.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm wondering how they handle because it seemed like there was a lot of checks.
Yeah, there's a lot
The
of checks.
5E's kind of famous for skill checks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm I don't remember exactly how DCC handles checks, but I'll find out.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely planning on running this once I get it, and it was awesome to be able to play in it and then have the overview afterwards was really cool.
Cool. Awesome.
And wishes is again, like hopefully we can do this again sometime in the future.
Sounds good.
But yay, it's fun.
Awesome. All right, Kate, do you have any stars and or wishes?
Excuse if I get a baby on here.
Yeah, the baby's in your lap. Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Big stars that we actually won. Yay! 'Cause I wasn't sure how that was going to go.
I had confidence.
I mean, I do think that, like, kind of following on John, like, for something that relieved me throughout because of how potent the enemies were was that they had those lower hit points, so that if you actually managed to hit them, they were fairly crunchy because things are so swingy at second level. So and especially with I would agree with John, like if someone is playing with a party that's like fighter healer heavy or very 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 tactical, right, like it might be good to beef up those hit points just to add to that challenge and that fear, right? But for our group, I think it could have gone either way depending on how the dice went. So I mean, I had fun with it. I love the adventure and the story and all the complexity overall. I absolutely adored our party and our roleplay dynamic. Wit was just hilarious, especially in the last fight with all those dice rolls that were just so perfectly wit anyway for behaviors to pick up on or enhance. So that was really cool. And I'm glad that Jin survived and Ricky survived, so we still have continuity if we want to use them later at higher levels in other campaigns. And then...
I need to remember what level he was before we started this because I got to put him back.
And then I think, wishes, not really much at this point. I had a good time, so thanks to Jeff for letting us play it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sarah, stars and or wishes?
Oh, okay. Stars is role-playing with all of you wonderful people, first of all. You guys always make it so much fun to just be here and be my weirdo self and bring characters like Wit to life. The campaign itself was refreshingly different from what I've played in the past.
Okay, that's cool.
Which I genuinely really enjoyed. I know that checks can be really frustrating, and especially when they're high, and our party wasn't really
strong at all.
Ideally built.
Yeah, a lot of strength checks, and we don't have a lot of strong characters.
Yeah, but that also kind of adds to the anxiety and the, oh my god, are we really going to survive this? Which is something that I find that a lot of 5e adventures kind of lack nowadays.
Sure.
So that was pretty awesome. Wishes? I would love to see more.
Sure.
Of the whole world. I really love the setting. I really love the creatures. It's very cool. It's very unique.
Okay.
And I really loved it. So thanks, Jeff.
My stars and wishes. Star is absolutely having my good friend Kyle come play.
Yeah.
We were playing D&D together like 30 years ago. We're still playing D&D together. So I'm really excited about that, and the rest of you are terrible.
That tracks.
I boo that.
Don't worry, we agree. No.
I thought the overall theme of the adventure was very fun and very interesting. The whole, like, everything is fungus and having the crickets in it and tentacles and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't really like Cthulhu type stuff. I don't like technically Cthulhu type things.
Needed more Cthulhu, in my opinion.
Some people love Cthulhu. I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. It's just not my style. But I really liked the adventure. I thought that Jeff did an awesome job of writing it and having a lot of really fun, interesting things to explore, and having different ways of going through different areas, because that gives it a replay value to it, where, like, if Kyle's running this for multiple groups or something, or if I am, people might go through the Spore Weaver nest before they go to the entrance hall, and they might go down through the hole and go to the cave. And you can go into the caves through the crater or through the river pathway where you guys went. So that Jeff said that's a big part of DCC, is trying to have lots of replayability in it. So I thought he did a great job of writing it. I did cut out a lot of content that I just thought was laborious and was not going to be fun. Things that I think that a party that normally does this style of adventure, the old school Renaissance, the OSR style, like, people like that I think would love this adventure. And when I spoke to Jeff about some of the things that you guys had done, he basically described an OSR party as people who, like, inch along with, like, a pole and they check everything constantly as they go.
Yeah.
Which is
hey.
usually how we are.
I'm just like it sounds like it's a little bit of a difference between the way that we would play usually and the way that OSR groups tend to play usually. But
Yeah.
I mean, so I cut out some things. So I just didn't think it would be fun for me to do it and to have you guys actually go through it. So I cut some stuff out. Some of it, like I said, Jeff had put in there and said, if this is not fun, don't use it. And so I threw it away. Other things like climbing up the shaft, I just didn't want to deal with that at all. So I threw that out. And that's a personal preference. It's nothing against the adventure. I thought the adventure is a really good OSR adventure. And again, I love the way it was written. I thought it was very interesting and very fun, very different, like Sarah said. And Casey's artwork, Jeff's wife, it's amazing. And I've been putting it on Instagram so people can see different pieces of the artwork. And I thought that it was really well done. And I really had fun playing it, even with some of the things that I forgot or modified in the moment. I still, as a DM, really had a lot of fun running it. And I've spoken to Jeff about doing other cross promotions like this in the future. And I know the basic setup for his next adventure. I don't remember exactly what level it is, and I won't talk about any of the setup or whatever because I have no idea when this is going to be. He talked about doing a DCC adventure that has 0 level characters.
A funnel.
So that's not something that we would do. But he gave me like the next 5e one that will probably also be a DCC one. He's like, here's a Google Doc, I'll share it with you. So I read the intro and I'm like, I think this would be a lot of fun to run. So we will almost certainly do more cross promotions like this in the future, and we may just insert them into whatever campaign is going on. Like we're going to go back to my Dragon Birth campaign after this session, and we will continue with that campaign, and we will use probably more of Jeff's adventures in the future. So thank you, Jeff and Casey. It was great. Thank you, Kyle, for coming and playing with us.
Oh, thank you for
We'll have
having
you come
me.
back
It was
again
awesome. It was
in the
really fun.
future.
Go back for more.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Yay!
Hey, this time it's not just Greg giving me the clap.
Now
It's the whole group.
Kyle. All right, let's say goodnight to the listeners.
Good night.
Good night, listeners.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review anywhere this podcast can be found. Our social media links, plus additional content, can be found on our website at knightsofroleplay.com. Please tell your friends about Knights of Roleplay, an adventuring podcast, and spread the word through social media. Your help and support are greatly appreciated.